Ultimate wealth is found in wisdom alone.
Hey everybody, Neil, Robert, and John here, the Axiom team back again. Last time we got together, we talked about the nuances of Roth IRAs. Today, traditional IRAs are up.
So typically, your traditional IRA contribution is going to be tax deferred. So these are dollars that went in that hadn't been taxed yet. They grow tax deferred, and then their tax is income when they come out, as opposed to the Roth IRA, which we covered in our last video. That dollars that go into the Roth IRA are after tax that grow tax-free for retirement.
So Robert, prior to retirement, when people are still contributing to these accounts and building them up, what are some of the nuances of traditional IRAs that they might need to consider?
As all IRAs, it's required to have earned income to be able to make a contribution to the traditional IRAs. Like Neil said, there's many different types of traditional IRAs. You've got IRA, rollover IRAs, SEP IRAs for all different purposes and all different types of limits. The traditional IRA also allows you the opportunity to make an after-tax contribution, which is not subject to the income limitations, and that gives you a lot more flexibility for making those tax-deferred the tax-deferred growth opportunity for your future income. Before age 59 and a half, there's also the opportunity to be able to take a few different types of distributions that are going to be free of penalties, always taxed as income, as ordinary income. Whenever money comes out, there's going to be those tax implications, but there are ways to be able to take money out of the IRA without the addition of an early withdrawal penalty, such as 72T distributions, which are systematic and equal distributions that are spread out over 6 years, or for qualifying distributions for first-time home purchases and medical expenses.
The Roth IRA income limits, there's a phase out a little bit over 200,000. Those income limits for making a deductible traditional IRA contribution are much lower than that, both on the individual and the joint filer. If you or your spouse don't have a employer-sponsored plan available, your traditional IRA contribution is deductible no matter how much money you make. A couple other things on when somebody's in retirement that are nuances with traditional IRA. The year that you turn age 72, you'll have a required minimum distribution. When you take it that first year, there's some nuances. So if you're close to that, it's worth talking with somebody about making sure you take it in the right time frame. You can do qualified charitable donations with your traditional IRA at age 70 and a half.
I think that using the qualified charitable distributions or QCDs is a fantastic gifting and tax efficient strategy to discuss.
Okay, so we got IRAs, RMDs, QCDs, all the acronyms covered. Post-retirement though, let's talk about that. So we did pre-retirement, during retirement. Robert, if we were planning on passing these traditional IRAs on to future generations or maybe to a charitable organization, what kind of details should we be aware of at that point?
Traditional IRAs can pass from spouse to spouse easily enough. A spouse can take that on as their own IRA. It can be rolled over into a personal IRA, or it could also be taken on as an inherited or beneficiary IRA. That option is not the case for anybody but the spouse. Children or other beneficiaries, those can only be done as inherited IRAs, which are also known as beneficiary IRAs, have a 10-year distribution rule. That is applicable to all IRAs, all the traditional IRAs that are inherited after December 31st of 2019, when the Secures Act was passed. And those RMDs still apply for inherited IRAs, and it's based off of the decedent's age.
The 10-year rule, though, does make inheriting a traditional IRA a little bit more burdensome, because the money has to be withdrawn by the 10th year. And so it can create a bit of a tax burden to those that are inheriting the beneficiary IRA.
Neil, anything else to summarize the nuances of traditional IRAs to wrap it up here?
This is just an overview. There's so much to cover when it comes to these nuances inside the traditional, in any kind of IRA, any kind of qualified account that may or may not apply to people. These are sort of the main things that we see apply to our clients, sort of, again, prior to retirement, during retirement, and then to the next generation.